That's the one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not. Okay. So. Is that?
It's not. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. What is it? So we have no time, so that's good. 7:50.
Yeah, so just giving a call. Okay, yeah. Oh. Yeah. So, you started recording? Well, the public meeting part starts at 7:00. Yeah. It's always like.
We can review minutes if we have these.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, so. Actually, I think we're meeting minutes. Thank you very much. And I go to approve these, because I already read them.
So we're.
So, sorry, we're, currently discussing some of the minutes that, that I transcribed. So that's the, we're discussing.
Yeah.
But, and the public hearing starts at.
That's just if there's any.
Okay.
If there's been
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna open the meeting at 7:02, and we're gonna go through our meeting minutes and whatnot, and then from there we will go on to the rest of the list. But anyway, so Mendon Conservation Commission, welcome. I'm Susan Cahalan. I'm doing holding court for Carl today, and
Tim McCarty.
Carl Hummel.
how you doing, Carl?
Voted out.
I'm Maya Chuck, I'm the, conservation admin, on the new cabinet edition. So thank you for coming and welcome, and it's a ride, and it's a long day for everyone, so. Well, yeah, but it's because I'm not, so. Everyone well? Yeah. Charlie, you feeling better? Oh,
Yes, I'm better. I'm just tired and the anti-allergy stuff medicine's making it hard for me to sleep and my voice is pretty much gone.
thank you for coming.
Yep.
Yeah, quite a bit of real quick for 23 Cape Road. So the plans came in and their NOI submission and storm wastewater report came in So they'll be ready, they issued a continuance for December 22nd, so they'll.
We actually had a meeting.
And then there was a mail that, did you get the mail that was on the desk? Or was that what you just
I
reported?
didn't.
She said.
Yeah,
Somebody said, so,
yeah, so that was the plans for 23K.
okay, so that's what you were describing.
Yeah.
You can't wait till the next meeting.
Oh, for the number, the number?
It was something else, was it like a decision from DEP, which is why they were.
Oh, right, yes.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from 8/11.
Second, are you serving as chair?
Yeah,
Oh, so I'll second.
third. All in favor?
Aye.
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 So, is
You want to make a similar motion for
the 8 minutes?
the 9/8?
Oh, 9, yes, yep. You make it?
Oh, I'll make it, yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of September 8th.
Second. Aye.
Board. Any objections? All approved? We approve meeting minutes for August 11th, 2022. Thank you very much.
So, the public hearing is set for 7:15. You know what I was wondering, has there been any correspondence with Millville Road?
Yes, we received soil during my report. So that was part of the Shirley file that I said.
We got this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that had come in, yeah, that was,
Are they filing an NOI?
I'm actually here for that
Oh,
project.
you are?
Sit up front.
Sure, this isn't on the agenda, but I'm just.
Yeah. Actually, I think it is on
Oh,
the agenda.
Yeah.
Do you want to wait until the end, or do you want to just do it now?
We can take it now if it's not a public hearing.
It's not a public hearing, I believe.
But I know there were interested neighbors, are they?
Is there anybody here from Millville Road?
Because she was the one
And
who
Lovell
wanted
Street?
driving us to get the data.
Yeah.
Hopefully she got the report.
Yes.
Carl, yes?
Maya, did you send her the report? Person?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
actually, I'm from 19 Maury Street, and I was under the impression that 29 Maury Street had soil testing there. And for some reason, I thought that that was related to the Millville soil testing.
I don't think so.
No, I think,
Not from Ohio.
no, not from Maori. Was the soil testing on Maori from a septic design, or, do you know? It could have been Board of Health.
No. The resident had built up a huge
Oh.
That's the landscaping.
I know.
mound of
That's the
soil
landscaping.
from, and
Yes.
he got it from, we don't know where, but it looked contaminated. And we were very concerned about the wetlands in the back. And it was also seeping into Mr. Audie's yard. And I mean, it's a big issue. It's a big issue.
So they're in litigation with the town right now, aren't they, on that property?
We're speaking about the same project this is 106 Millville Road, correct, with the red barn in the back?
No, they're up
No,
talking
they're
about
different.
They're different.
which is the guy who's bringing in, trying to make soil. Is that the guy? And he had mounds and
He's under,
been on it a couple of
yeah.
years. I don't know if that's.
He's under zoning enforcement right now because he's running a business. The town's, has, taken him to court, for running a business in a residential zone.
Yes, I was at the court hearing
Okay,
on Monday, and
is it continued?
it's continued, but the position of the town and the building department is that he's making progress. He's making progress, making a bigger mess, is what he's making.
Okay.
I mean, he's got logs, and, I mean, he's actually building a log wall on his border, along with these big mounds of dirt. And his yard, this guy's a landscaper, and the back of his yard, the back of the area of his house, actually looks like a war zone.
He's saying he's making soil. He's bringing in probably from elsewhere. He would say organic matter.
You've been out there, right?
Been out there because there was issues of how close to the wetlands or what the disturbance was. And there was some trails, and I forget how we left it then, that there wasn't a mound within 100 feet of the wetlands, or there wasn't seemed.
So he was outside the buffer.
It was outside, so I don't know if now you're saying, well, there's stuff on Trivers.
He was not only outside the buffer, but we did an investigation. He has had someone flag the wetlands, and we were able to, during the site walk, determine that the work he was doing in the yard was not impacting the wetlands area, that he had it far enough away and he had set up the appropriate mechanisms to keep the organic material he was working with from getting into the wetlands area. And unfortunately, that's all that this particular committee can deal with. If there are other issues, that's outside of our purview, and it's something that, as you know, other parts of the town government are involved with.
But there's been a change.
Okay,
I mean, he's got these huge logs from goodness knows where. And he's actually done, he has a big pyramid of chopped wood in the middle of the yard. And on the peripheral of the yard, he has like 6 or 7 logs that are, stacked up. But I mean, it's like a fortress. And Mr. Audie, Al Audie, said that he's building a trench, and he's also building a back road to his property. I mean, things have changed.
If that's the case, then we can discuss with the owner whether he will allow us to do another site visit. And
I have no idea. He's a very belligerent and nasty man.
That's what the chair is saying. We just can't go out and look at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of the people on the Conservation Commission have had successful conversations with him in the past. So if he is not willing to let us go on to his site, we would reach out to the abutters and take a look at the area from over the border, over the property line from their property.
Well, you need to be quick because he's really building a fortress.
So what he's saying is we're not allowed to just go on somebody's property.
Right.
Where do you live in relation to this?
Well, there's Al Audie, there's Mr.
To the left?
No, I'm going from the.
We live in 19 more.
We live in 19 more. The herds are next to him and we're next to the herds. But the property triangulates that this big log fence actually is touching our property on the triangular part. But I mean, it is.
So what he's saying is if you invited us onto your property so we could see what he's doing in relation to the buffer zone, that's all we can do. We're not allowed to go on anyone's property without permission.
You are very welcome to come on the
And
property.
what number do you live at?
19.
19, okay.
19. You have to let us know because we have a German Shepherd.
Oh, yeah.
And the issue that we can look at to see is if the wetlands are being impacted. We are not going to be able to say one thing about logs being stacked on your land
Right.
or his land or his digging a ditch, as long as it's not impacting the wetland or so.
One comment. I live in 19 more Street, on Bill Memphis. When we went to Mr. Audie's,
Yeah, Audie, yeah.
he built dirt up approximately 8 feet tall. And we noticed a lot of asphalt debris in there. So if you're trying to make soil, asphalt is not like soil.
No.
What we will do is Bill and Damon have had successful conversations with that owner in the past. So they're not here this evening, but we can reach out to them in the next day or two and see if they can have a conversation with that particular property owner.
So love for you to come and see it firsthand.
So could you-
Ideally, we would be able to go onto his property, and that should be our first attempt at communication.
Well, you're welcome to come on our property. If that's not a bit.
But if you could leave your phone
I
number.
will, absolutely.
Yeah, make sure Maya has your contact info.
It's 7:15, we're gonna open the public hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, 3537 Hastings Street had asked for continuance to the next meeting. They're awaiting some other things from the Department of Environmental Protection. So now we have, next is 30 Mistville Road, DP file number 218-0836. NOI by Peter LaVoy for single family home with deck, driveway, you know, septic and utilities, etc. And let's see where it's, oh, right, so.
Good evening, my name is Peter LaVoy. I work with DNL Design Group. Here tonight representing Tom and Rebecca Clark. Project's located at 30 Misco Road. Misco Road runs along the top of the page right here. Currently, well, there was an existing house in this location here with a cesspool. That has been removed because of safety. And what we're,
House
yeah, it's right on the road.
Oh, is that the really old one?
Yeah, the salt box, yeah, yes. Yeah, that was right on the road. So what we did is we went out and did some soil testing in the front here. And we're proposing the septic system in this location here with a new house, which is outside of the 50. So you have the wetland that was flagged by Paul Knappich. Then you have the 25-foot no disturb. You have the 50-foot that comes around, and then this outer blue line is the 100. So the proposed well is gonna go in this location here, up near the road. Septic in the front right here, front entry, house with the house in this location here. We are taking the roof runoff and putting it into an infiltration area on the side of the house. This is a proposed walkout. We're not doing any disturbance within the 25 foot of that wetland. And then just some, we're gonna use hay bales and silt fence around the disturbed area, which basically, this is a 2-acre lot, but we're only disturbing the front portion, which is already, this is all disturbed already. And that's basically where we're working.
Maya, is there an online version of this so I can look at it?
Is there an online version?
Yes, I sent the,
Maya, I think I sent you, I emailed you colored plan too today.
oh, yes, that one, I hadn't attached to, documents yet. I printed it out, but I can attach it to the document so that you can see it on your computer. I can.
Yeah, if you can mail it now, I'll be able to pick it up.
So I appreciate it's an old lot, right? It was an antique house. And hate to see the house go, but it is what it is.
It's already gone.
It's already gone.
Yeah.
You can't move it left or, because that's setbacks?
Yeah, so we have the property line, which is right here, and we're right at the setback.
And then it's required setback.
And then the property line comes like this, and then it comes at an angle, so I can't move it back.
Well, that's not going to gain, I'm just trying to get further away from the wetland, right?
Yeah, no, because basically this wetland, he only flagged this point, but this wetland
Yeah,
continues.
keep going.
So there's, I think you would do more disturbance if you tried to go around.
Well, yeah, where yeah, I understand, maybe there is another house site, but it's way
Yeah.
around. That's for us to say whether, and as you say, it's already been disturbed, that was the yard, I guess.
Correct, yep, yeah, and we did, there's a lot of ledge out there too,
Is there?
because we did do a lot of soil, trying to find an area, to do this.
So how was the perk on it? What was it?
The-
High water?
It was high water, the perk, let's see. I got a 5 and a 13, groundwater is roughly 48, 42 inches. I mean, because it's all a lot of fill.
It's pretty high.
Yeah.
Where'd you find that? You must have perked in the old house, right?
No, no, the old house was right here.
Was it that far down?
Yeah, it was this far down. No, this was the lawn area. I mean, we
You had
had,
another driveway.
The house was well in the buffer.
I imagine there's a big-
yeah, because the house was like right up on the property line and it was within,
And it looks like an architecturally designed house, right? So they've put a lot of thought into where all the jigs and jobs are, not just this uniform block.
right. It is kind of,
It is what's gonna get built, so it's not gonna get moved and.
no, you really can't, because we're like, I want to say we're like 53 feet away with the structure. That's why the deck goes out the back. This is all a walkout to minimize the grading within that outer.
So here we get into where we're in a position of strength to say, I shouldn't say strength, in a position of authority or someone to say how that guy's yard is going to be, because that's in the, that's in the 25-foot buffer.
So he doesn't have much choice because the groundwater is here. The system's gonna be way out of the ground. So the house is basically on top of the ground, the way I look at it.
Right, you basically, your
There's
yard,
not much disturbance.
your yard is gonna be that.
Right, but my question is, I would like to see that buffer, right? But that's he's walking right out his yard. There's gonna be a lawn, and so
50
you
foot,
have
yeah.
conditions on the lawn, like no fertilizer or no lawn minimize, or I don't know what's there now. Is there trees?
It's grass.
It's grass.
It's just showing grass.
But
That's-
that's not gonna change when he has to grade it for the septic system.
Well, that's the grade, he's showing the grading there now.
Yeah, the grading's right there, yeah. Just mostly the grading, we're basically gonna fill in the front right here, this is all gonna stay net the way it is, it just become lawn. And then this grade is not really changing, we could do some markings along the 25 to make sure that buffer
Is that like a
stays.
walkout, so that you don't have to change the grading?
Yes, yep, so,
Less disturbance. So where's the, silk fence on the left?
so the silk fence is the yellow line, which is hard to see, so it comes around the 25 foot
Okay, good.
like that.
So do you have something around the well?
I do have something around the well, yes.
So that you just want to make sure that do they have to drill a new well?
You have to drill a new well,
Because
because the other well is right there, you know what?
Oh,
How do I open up a DWG file?
You can't unless you have CAD.
Then you'll need to
I guess
resend
where
it
I
as a
want-
PDF
Is
for our records.
if they're the 25-foot buffer, and that's where you're gonna be putting the silt fence. Okay, everything else is, I guess, gonna be lumen seeded, it's gonna be their yard. They come down, they get the order conditions, they're gonna take out that, and then they're gonna wanna continue that lawn right down to the wetland, because it hasn't grown up in 6 months. And I would,
do you want?
I would tend to say,
We can put a,
well, I tend to say that's a no build, it's more than no build, that's a do not disturb, which implies no mowing, right?
correct, that was saying
So,
naturally.
and I don't want signs, it's this guy's yard, but I want him to know that that is the line and that it's on some document
You can
or.
ask for a variance, that's the only way you're gonna get it stopped. So they know where it is, because this is what happens.
Yeah, I don't want.
They move in
it's-
and then everybody
I understand if it's, and then they sell it on and then so it's,
Is there a stone wall?
No,
I mean, so.
just a lot of big there are a lot of big
Yeah.
rocks. I mean, we could put rocks along there.
Well, I'd also maybe talk to the guy if he could put some nice plants, so you're not gonna go and mow it, okay, this row has some, so that he can still have his view of the wetlands. I don't wanna block it off, but that kind of delineates, that's the rough, non-mowable on the other side of that road.
Peter, how about a split rail fence, a 3-foot split rail fence?
We could do that.
So whatever he would want, that would be semi-permanent and that is gonna give the message, that side you don't mow, this side is the lawn.
I can propose split rail fence.
Whatever.
At the 25 foot.
Yeah. You could just, I could make that a condition.
If you want to do it between some certain flag numbers or something. Flag numbers called on that.
Yes, yep. And you definitely want to go like this
Yeah,
from here.
not going from too, from there, basically,
Right there.
sounds about right.
which is,
Yeah, you got that little dupe in there, yeah.
looks like flag 115 to flag 108. Perfect.
And you have a downspout to go into some sort of infiltration,
Yep, right on the high point here,
and the runoff from the driveway, where is that going, onto the street? or-
onto the street.
Does it rise up high? It's up high?
Yeah, so so the street's here, yeah, but we have to fill that, that's what because of groundwater.
Okay, you feel.
You do, when you pull into the site, you do go down like 3
Yeah.
feet, but that's gonna come up.
Okay.
But then from the street up to the driveway, it's gonna
Oh,
come
so
up.
that's a little boulder,
Yeah, there's a bowl now, when you go out there and you pull into the site, you go down like 3 feet.
right?
But that's gonna change because groundwater's high, so now the driveway's gonna be, it's gonna be higher. I think it's like
Plans from the NOI.
2 feet, it's gonna be 2 feet higher. 2 feet higher than the road. So you're probably bringing in the
So
5
it'll be
feet.
pitching towards the road.
So it's an attached garage now, remember?
No, it's not on, it's attached. Because of the septic, you couldn't do, you'd have to put a retaining wall there.
So it's a walkout all around back.
Yeah, yep, so basically from here all the way around to here, you can walk out.
Did you see it within 5 feet of fill?
Yes, in front of the
So
house.
right now, you're thinking that it's 3 feet, so 2 feet higher than.
Then then the road, if you go out there, and you look at the road, you're gonna be 2 feet higher than the road. And like I said, it drops down like 3 feet when
Yeah.
you step into the lot, so you're gonna have to
So
bring.
basically, you're putting the septic on top of the ground.
Correct.
That's what it is.
Yep. Yeah, because groundwater is 4 feet down from existing grade, so the bottom of your field is right at lower level.
Oh, are you waiting to look at it, or do you have any questions, or?
Maya has to take a picture of what's on the easel so I can see what it is. I'm very familiar with the lot in question.
Yeah.
Take a picture of that right there.
Yeah.
Well, I know why you can't push your house closer to the street now.
Yeah.
So it looks like the house is going to go about where the boat is now.
Correct. Yep.
Can you mark, or are you able to mark about where on the site the old house was up against the street? I think it was closer to the,
I wanna say it was
about where
right here.
about where the septic system is and your.
Yeah.
Further, even further east.
Yeah, the old house was like about 3 feet away from, the corner of the house was 3 feet away from the road.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion to issue order of conditions with split rail and some protection around the wellhead.
Between wetland flags, what were they?
115 and 108.
So you're gonna just revise a plan?
I can do that and get that, so you have it for your record. And you want me to do like a well pit, is that what you want?
We just want a barrier around the well, so when they drill it, all the shavings stay, you know.
Okay. I usually put a well pit. I don't know why.
Okay, that'd be good too,
Yeah,
but
'cause I would put the well pit right
just
here.
make sure they have a barrier around it, so it doesn't get over.
Yep,
Called a well pit with.
Yeah.
and
The
rail around it.
driveway.
hay bales, okay.
What is your timetable for beginning construction?
I don't think they're in a rush.
Okay,
So,
after you get the siltation and the bales in place, we'd like to get a call so we can go out and take a look at it And that would be, so get that in place, and then we go take a look at it before any major earth moving or excavation work gets done. Although in
Yeah,
your
so-
case, you're going to be filling and not excavating.
There's no tree cutting, is there?
Just brush,
Yeah.
no trees.
And if you can,
It's already been.
Can't use it as a hole to lose things, or I don't know.
and you're going to make a lot of deer very unhappy, and the neighbors very happy that the deer are going to go away.
Oh, jeez.
I'll go away.
Did you make-
I did make a motion.
I'll second that.
Third.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
I,
Not opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. So you're gonna just get a plan from Maya?
I'll make the changes and get it returned.
Perfect. Do you have a file number yet?
I do have a file number, yes. Yeah, she has the file number. 218-836.
So, just so I'm clear, the motion's been made and passed that we're to accept this with the condition that a split rail fence be added between wetland flag number 115 to 108.
Yep.
And a well pit be installed with hay bales around it.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alright, so next up, we have 2 Nipmuc Drive, DEP file number 218. No, wait, do something.
Carl, that file is
Yep.
easy.
yep, I got that one.
Yeah, how big is that site? How many acres?
The site, it's like 1.8 acres.
How much of that is wetlands?
I don't think they own any of the lake. It got carved off, so Murray Ball.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I don't think they own.
So the whole entire is upland?
Yeah, pretty much, besides the wetland that runs, there's a little bit of wetland, probably it goes up to the lake, and that's it.
So that's not very nice.
This is right next to the Mary Ball. And then those steps going down.
Oh, so that's the old
Yes.
carousel.
Yes, yeah. That was that area that had all like the train tracks and everything.
All right, so, yeah.
Okay, so for the record, my name's Peter Lavoy. I work with Dino Design Group. I'm here tonight representing Benny Pinto. He purchased this lot. So we have the existing lot, basically in this location here, which is roughly 1.8 acres in size. We have a wetland line that was flagged by Goddard Consulting. This area has been previously disturbed in this area here from the previous owner. Basically, the lot slopes from where the house is, which is the back of the lot towards the lake. It kind of drops off quickly and then it's kind of flat in this area here along the street. This is Nipmuc Drive in this location here, and then Uxbridge Road runs along right there. So what we want to do is we want to construct a house at the top of the lot.
Where's the 100-foot buffer?
The 100-foot buffer is right here. So here's your 100-foot buffer, here's your 50, and then your 25 in this location here. There's gonna be no work within the 25. The post house is going up at the top of the hill. We do have the driveway coming up to this location here, side entry. Proposed septic system in this location here. There is a retaining wall on the street side. Tried to push it as far as we could towards the street. Proposed well is in the back, which is out of 100 foot. Proposed driveway, because of the length of the driveway, this driveway, the runoff will come down, and I proposed a little settling area to catch this runoff from the driveway to go into here. You know, during construction and after, that would stay, just for some kind of treatment for the driveway. And then there's a little spillway that will spill over roughly 35 feet from the wetland. So, this proposed front yard is roughly a 4-to-1 slope. So it's kind of coming back. There is a small retaining wall, in this location. This is the highest point right here, and it's basically 4 feet high. So anything over 4 feet would have to be structurally designed. So we kept it at 4 feet in this location here, and then went like a 4-to-1 slope back to the front of the house. I show my stockpile area in the back here, trying to keep everything out of the 100-foot buffer. I think that's it.
The drainage from the house.
The drainage from the house,
Go down the driveway.
yeah, the house will go into a recharge area in the side yard. And then, like I said, the driveway, this is all gonna be grass here, but the driveway is gonna be directed into that little settling area where it should settle down.
Where's the well?
The well is way back here. At the top.
So did they already put the well in or?
No,
Oh,
no, that's where we'd like to put it.
and that's out of the.
Yeah, that's out of the 100. The house is out of the 100. This driveway, this whole area, all this work is outside of the 100. It's just the septic system in this portion of the driveway, as well as, you know, constructing the front yard.
Yeah, I understand it's a tough site and it's a steep site. And I haven't looked closely and I guess it's hard to stop you from putting in the septic and the house, and then you gotta put a driveway to do it. But I don't see why you have God's right to improve your front lawn by taking out that whole slope and grading it out. You're gonna be clear cutting that whole slope and grading it. And it's sloping right down to Lake Nipmuc. That I got a problem with.
Is it sloping toward the lake? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
That's where those stairs are, right? The stairs are probably.
Yeah,
Stairs are
the stairs
really-
would look nicely, and those are, it's kind of like nice trees on that slope, right?
I'm not sure.
Well, why
I know that this,
why
I
not
know
this
that-
pot?
I know that this area here is it's all been cleared already. From here that way. So,
And they don't own frontage further up Nipmuc, there's no way to come in higher above the septic systems?
no, this is another lot. This lot is the abutter's lot over here. This is their frontage, so they only own from here around here. So I tried to keep the driveway as far as I could away from the wets. That's the only place that we could find
Could
septic.
sneak it between the top of the septic and the sideline there, right along that edge, the property line there?
This one?
Okay, from here, coming in here. As a, to
No.
avoid this,
No, because
would
groundwater's,
it be higher?
yeah, groundwater's high, so that's why this is, I know, that's a,
So I'm saying put the driveway, come in here. And you don't have to do this work. Without looking at the site, I'm just trying to minimize the work in the buffer. No one, I guess, we got a right for this house, and it's gotta squeeze in somehow, I don't know.
What's the square here, Peter? Is that like, that's not part of the
That's
lot?
a different house, that's the same.
yeah, that's the other lot over here. This right here is the frontage for Nipmuc. We'll cut the lot out, kind of,
When was this lot created?
not sure.
Recent.
Must be recent.
So then it abides by our laws, our bylaws?
That's a big center.
Well, it's,
With the short lines and then spread out.
I had to do the short lines and it's spread out because of the 50-foot here, this ledge in this corner here. So, you know, and this is all exposed ledge back here. That's not our property.
Peter, how are you protecting, the 25-foot buffer when you put the driveway in?
We're but we're gonna put hay bales and silt fence during
Are you doing both?
construction. Yeah, we're gonna do both hay bales and silt fence. And then, like I said, once it's stabilized, that little settling area will still stay and collect the runoff from the driveway.
If you're doing the steepness of the slope, there should probably be hay bales and so forth going along to protect the lane front.
Right, yeah, so from,
Any excavated area.
yep, so from the stairs here all the way around and up is
Oh, okay.
the erosion control.
Okay, so
It
there.
goes all the way around.
Right.
I
And
have
so-
a question that would
Um,
normally be.
What were-
I have,
Reading in the,
Oh, Carlson.
in here.
Because the lot drops off, so they have to, so they can use it, that's why. More of a gradual slope instead of an abrupt, like a retaining wall, we didn't want to do all these retaining walls, we'd rather grade it out more gently.
So you're staying out of the 25-foot totally?
Correct.
Is that where the hay bale line is?
Yes, yep.
I have a question which would normally be a Board of Health issue, but since the septic system is on a steep slope and, or as part on a slope and close to the lake, are there any special things that might be done to prevent a accident in the leach field from contaminating the lake?
We followed, Title V, so we're meeting all the requirements from the state and from the local. We're 4 feet above groundwater, which is standard. This type of system is a step trench system because of the slope,
Okay,
but all the trenches have to meet breakout, so we meet the Title V requirements for the installation.
Yes.
Yeah,
In the driveway, the driveway to the house. It's a lot of film.
it is. Well, yeah, if you look at it, it's like, instead of blasting it, they decide, if you came in and you blasted this and brought it down, you could do it that way, which I think would be have more of an impact. Filling it, you can kind of minimize, the impact, I think. You have more control with the fill than with the.
It seems like putting at least one terrace step in there wouldn't be a bad idea, because that way you can drop 4 feet and not have to bring in so much.
I mean, I can look at trying to regrade the front.
Yeah, okay, recognize that they want a yard there, but 25, 30 feet, and then put a wall, and it would be beautiful to sit out looking over Lake Nipmuc, and you wouldn't have to disturb that whole slope for, in my opinion, it's aesthetic reasons.
I can look at it.
Any tree work in there?
Because it's not as if you're gonna get
Yeah.
that big a yard or what are you gonna
It's
do
gonna be a
with
lot
that
of trees.
4-to-1 grade slope for?
You would end up with that, not knowing what's shown there, wouldn't you?
Correct.
Yeah, so. There's not gonna be a lot of trees getting, they're all going.
So there will be tree work. Like I said, I can relook at it and go back to my client, see if he can,
Minimize the disturbance of that front slope to the minimum as.
maybe just kind of try to keep an opening in the front here and maybe kind of rework the grading in this area here to preserve.
Well, especially that 25 to 50. Why does that have to be regraded? It's a do not disturb zone. So what does do not disturb means? Yeah, don't rub and stop.
I can look at that.
Appreciate it. I might want to go and look at it. I may want to continue. I think we'll continue this.
You Rachel to.
Yeah.
so do we want to schedule a site visit with the applicant?
I just want to go out and look at it. He's going to be able to, yes, I can Because it's accessible, right?
Yes, yep.
And
Yeah,
it's
you can
not-
park over here, there's a chain link fence, you can walk
Have
around.
permission to walk on it. Okay.
So do you want to make a motion for continuance?
I will make a motion to continue to our next meeting, for 2 Nipmuc Drive.
And that's the 22nd
I don't know,
of December.
December 20th.
is it?
Do we have a meeting at Bristol Home?
We have it unless we figure we don't need it, but I
Can you be
guess.
ready for a plan by then?
When do you need a revised plan?
Probably the day before.
You don't want to look at it before?
It would be nice to get it a week in advance.
A week
That way there
before?
would be-
Okay,
we
no,
can
that's fine.
have Time to look at it, go over it and discuss.
How many copies would you like?
Well, if you send it electronically, right?
If you get a PDF, then.
Okay, PDF?
Yes, please.
Then we have that one for the field.
Okay.
The nice thing about a PDF is you can blow it out, you can make it individual areas. You can get a lot more information. Kill more trees.
Okay.
So I made a motion, is there a second? or-
I second that we continue it until the December 22nd meeting. And also follow with the site visit.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Aye.
All right. Next up, we have 31 Hartford Ave West, ET file number 2180735. Construction of single-family home. Anybody here for that?
Yeah, Bill Helsing from Land Planning remotely tonight.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good, how you doing?
Good. Can I share the plan? I can figure out how to do this. Okay, can you guys see that okay?
Yes, I can.
Yep.
There's a link here.
Is that adequately clear or should I zoom in a little bit?
Zoom. He asked if he should zoom in. You guys want?
Maybe just zoom in a little bit around the house. The back's not as, well, it's as good as it's gonna get. There you go, not too far. We'll shift it over there. Shift it over to see more of the wetland. There you go.
Yeah, that's the important stuff, right? Representing Tom and Kathy Hackinson tonight. The commission has actually seen this lot before in 2015. We got an order of conditions back then, but unfortunately, there's no mechanism at DEP to extend an order of conditions that has expired. So we are reapplying for the same lot again, same construction. The property is 31 Hartford Avenue West, just on the corner of Old Sawmill Lane, just almost at the crest of Hartford Avenue. The site's a little over 20,000 square feet. So we are limited to a 2-bedroom dwelling on the property due to Title V requirements. Septic system, we tested out front. We found adequate soils. The system has actually been reapproved by the Board of Health recently. Wetlands were flagged by Northeast Ecological Services some time ago. Actually walked this with Peter, I believe, back in 2015. Driveway for the site will come in on the left over by Old Sawmill Lane. So we have no additional egress onto Hartford Avenue. Unfortunately, there's a guardrail there as well. So driveway comes in, existing house. Well is in the back over here. Site is pretty sloped, so we're going to kind of keep most of that grading, just rearrange it a little bit. The house will have a walkout basement on the right rear. And to keep all our grading outside the buffer zone as best possible, we are proposing a retaining wall around the septic system to contain breakout. Septic tank sits in front of the house right here. We have designated some stockpile areas during construction at the flatter areas of the property. We are proposing silt fence and hay bales as a siltation barrier due to the steep slope out here. And also a sump area around the well so it retains any drillings from the well when it's put in, and also an additional row of hay bales around that for protection to the wetlands. So that is the plan as drawn and presented back in 2015. Any questions, comments?
You confirmed that the last wetlands flagging was 7 years ago?
Yeah, it was in 15, correct.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that part of town. Do other people on the committee feel that a flagging that was done 7 years ago is suitable, or whether we should do a site walk or ask to see whether the wetlands has moved in the last 7 years?
Madam Chair, I am, if not an immediate butter, my son is, and so I'm going to sit down in the audience. And I suppose I can participate and ask questions, but I'm not, I'm removing myself as I should.
Okay.
Bill, this may not be a conservation question, but that's under the 1.38 acres for a buildable lot, right? Did they already go through variance?
Pre-existing non-conforming. We traced the title back on this one a good 50 or 60 years, and it's always been in separate ownership. So underneath the building code with 50 feet of frontage and 5,000 square feet of area makes it a buildable lot. The restriction here is the area for the Title V requirements.
Okay.
So good question, Bob. Yeah.
So I remember when we did it originally, this is right down, it's all rock right now. It's pretty defined, it's a very defined area.
And it's the other half that the cul-de-sac on the end, so that's been flagged even more recently. Probably not onto this parcel.
Okay, that's fine.
That wetland has not changed too much.
Yeah, I don't think anything's changed in there. Need to be reflagged or anything. I remember when it came in front of us a long time ago. It's been sitting quite a while.
So you're confident because of the amount of rock that the wetlands won't have shrunken or grown?
I'm pretty sure it hasn't.
Okay.
I have a question just for the lot. It looks like there is a drainage line going from 3 lines out to your neighbors. Is that Paul? Paul used to live there. He passed away, right? That house? Yeah, so those are septic lines?
That is correct. That's their septic system.
Okay, so then what is that black line coming off the 3rd septic line going off in a, yeah, that one?
That's
Yeah, that's
just
the dimension showing it's
Footage.
130 feet.
a well.
Say again, okay, well, continue that. Is it just, because it's right as it's going off, if you can shift the image down, it almost, you're saying that, what is that?
It's the distance between the septic system and the new well, 130 feet.
Ah, that's the line from the well, okay.
Yeah, we just want to demonstrate that it's over 100 feet.
And what I'm not seeing, oh, because my son has a right of way over, which is not showing up on that parcel. It just shows it as,
Yeah, it's not on our parcel, but isn't this driveway that goes back to his lot maybe?
correct.
Yeah.
And that's his access. And so I know it's not a Concom issue, but you're bringing the driveway in on the right of way, and you can't put it out onto what you got on frontage on Hartford Ave. So you're swinging it over, and you called it Old Sawmill Road. That's not Old Sawmill Road. Old Sawmill Road doesn't begin till the end of the cul-de-sac. That is going to be where 3 or 4 people come together just as it's going to be a traffic nightmare. And where do you put your garbage? And where do you plow your snow? It's a tight, again, those aren't Concom issues necessarily.
Good questions, Peter. Certainly the snow will be plowed downhill and probably set, on the curve here. And I misspoke, certainly it's Old Hartford Avenue. I'm thinking Old Sawmill Road up the road a little bit. And certainly we can put our trash out here in front of the guardrail. And certainly everyone should label their cans so it's the right number.
And the mailbox,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna go there. I don't know, it'll be.
Well, I go to the post office anyway.
Another big drop. That's another 10-foot drop, huh?
Oh, if we went straight in, yeah, it's pretty steep. So we can make the driveway work at a safe grade the way we brought it in.
Well, so.
It's the water runoff, Bill, that that's a lot of water running off of that. We've been getting 2 and 3 inch storms lately. All that water is gonna go right down to the wetlands at that point, right?
As it always has.
Oh, the silt fence and hay bales are a nice way to mitigate that. That's nice to see.
Yeah, and certainly it all has to be vegetated, with good, strong, vegetation so it doesn't wash out. And of course, that's why we have extra siltation there, because we want to make sure we don't damage the wetlands.
I have a quick question. There's some arrows pointing down like the driveway near Harvard Ave West. Some like little arrows that I don't see on the key.
I don't know where you are.
Right down there, I'm just curious.
Oh, you mean here?
Well, it's going down.
Yeah, going
down
the other way, yeah.
It's down
Okay,
grade.
well, that's the dimensions for the retaining wall.
Oh, no, like go that way a little bit, like.
Where are we going?
Direction of the slope.
Oh, okay.
I think what she's looking at is right near, what Susan's looking at is right near the 114, 116 markers. You have arrow right there.
Okay. Those are flow arrows, so we want the contractor to know how to grade this thing. So if you can see, there's a small swale along the driveway, so water does not run down the driveway. We want it off the driveway in the vegetation so it can infiltrate as it passes.
Now, Bill, are those grades now or those grades that are going to be when this is done?
Okay, dashed lines are existing grades. Solid
Okay.
lines are proposed grades. You can see the proposed grades for the driveway. It comes down at a relatively gentle slope, from where we cut in, and pretty flat all around the house area and septic area. And similar to what it is now, it's kind of a plateau out there at the moment.
So Bill, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
The original order of conditions, is that still out there or has it been?
It's on record in Worcester. And I was thinking about that too, because I know that the Hackinsons had some fill brought out here in anticipation of construction in the future. So sometimes we can put a document on file that the order of conditions was not acted upon. Well, here we really can't because it was. So I'm thinking for our certificate of compliance, we'll apply for both orders at the same time, the old one and the new one, so it cleans the title for the property.
That's a good idea because it's going to be a problem later on.
Yeah, so we want it nice and clean when we're done, yeah.
Is there any?
Anyone from the audience? Any questions? Yeah, I mean, my only concern was the migration of the wetland, but if, everyone is familiar with it, it's like, yeah, it's all rock, and it's not conducive to supporting it. Yeah.
He's using 2 forms.
Yes, so you make it also.
I make a motion to accept the plan as drawn.
Second.
I'll third.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Carl, any?
Aye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. See you folks next time.
Have a good night, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Good night.
So, we now have 84 Uxbridge Road, BP file number 2180562 for, the order of conditions for property for successor El Conte Properties LLC. Anyone here for that?
Now, I saw the back and forth
Yeah.
that there was an order of conditions and supposedly there's even completion.
Mhm.
And this is for a
Site-
tight tank
tank,
that's
yeah.
across the street from the restaurant.
And a grease trap, yeah.
And our former clerk did a screenshot showing what the order was and the dates. And it was like, we gave the order in April and the completion was done in July. They can't find it. Can we find it? I don't know. Is that our job? I guess. So we I think that's what the solution is. Carl, tell me if I'm wrong, but they're looking for a copy that it was done?
Either the ask is that either we can look in our musty archives and find the document, or do a evaluation and come up with a new one signing off that based on the evidence that we have now that the order of conditions was satisfied. The goal is to clear the title in the registry of deeds.
Yeah. All right, so who's going to volunteer to look for it?
Well, it should be in the street folders, and I'm committed to, we gotta have access to our paper records. So it's worth the time to go
Yeah.
and maybe not with Maya, because she's got, or I don't know, maybe we can do it.
All right, are you able to look up the file number to see if, not now, but
Yeah, I
to see if there's anything that we have on file? It may be sitting in a file.
It should be, and it was all by streets and numbers, and so it would be good for you to get to know our old filing system so that we could, I don't even know where it is, it's been moved upstairs. But
Yes, you just go in the.
But they needed it like this week, right? Or next, so is the fix that we just say it was done and then as backup, I'll find the old one, but I don't know what you want to do.
The evidence that was given about that the work was successfully completed is that the tight tank across the street is being cleaned out on a regular basis, as well as the grease trap part. And those were the two things that were in the order of conditions. So if the members of the committee are satisfied that the fact that it's been working all these years and it hasn't exploded, then we could make we could vote that way tonight and then have Maya write up a new thing that we could then get attached to the title.
I'm okay with that, and with the addendum that we are also going to find the original as well, but for timeliness.
Yes, because they do want to say.
That's the data that we have, which is good enough. If that indeed was what it was, is the installation of a tight tank and grease trap, yeah, you can assume that it was.
I think get under Route 16.
Excuse me?
I think
I think it does say you can put pipes under, you pay big bucks, but you.
Is it issued May 5th, 2003? Is that?
Sounds
Sounds
all
right.
right.
Because I have it pulled up, it was in the shared folder.
Can you
So
throw
this-
it on the screen?
Okay.
Right, but that's a screenshot that, what's his name, Bill sent us, right? And so all it has is the numbers and the dates that it was approved. So that's evidence that it was done and that we issued an order of completion back then. So with those two facts in our possession, I am comfortable issuing a letter or however and recreating that so that they can carry on their work.
Will they accept a letter or do they need a certificate of compliance?
They need a certificate of compliance that is signed by us and notarized if necessary so that it can get attached to the deed as a closure.
I was looking at the file, but that's not gonna happen until, I don't have a key. When is that gonna happen? Until next Monday or Tuesday?
Oh, I have the key now if you wanna, I'm gonna come in tomorrow. Do you have time tomorrow?
I would, maybe, one end of the day or another, yeah.
Okay, so you have my,
We'll make contact, but, so, if I find it, what does that mean? Is that sufficient for them? It would have been signed back then. Is that sufficient for them?
Peter, can we make a motion that we accept it with the condition that we find the paperwork, and then therefore it doesn't have to wait till the next meeting, the 22nd?
Well, it's more like the following. The decision tree is, first alternative is Peter and Maya find the paperwork. The paperwork will either be signed off back from 2003 or it will not be signed off. If it was signed off in 2003, great, we just get that to the registry. If it was not, then we want to approve that document now, and then it can get given to the registry. If you cannot find the piece of paper, we're on the other side of the decision tree where we must create a new one and get it signed and into the registry. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. So the way to finesse that is, let's make a motion to create a new order of conditions.
If we can't find the old one already signed off.
And then Maya and I will make that decision on Friday, and she'll either send the old one or send the new one that we have signed tonight, or how do we sign that tonight?
Well, if you do not find something tomorrow, you and Maya create a paper copy and then people show up and sign it on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll make that motion.
What motion is that?
I'll try wording it.
Thanks, Scott.
I move that in the absence of a 2003 signed order of condition, the board will conditionally approve and make arrangements to sign on Monday a new order of conditions. That means COC, not order of conditions.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, so now we have 106 Millville Road, discussion of the soil sampling ones. Soil analysis, we'll have to go on. I did look at that.
Good evening, all. My name is Tom Schutz, and I'm with Goddard Consulting here on behalf of the applicant at 106 Millville Road. So we did submit our soil sampling that we did in early, or I believe it was late summer. And it was good news for everybody that there was no contaminants in the soil at all. So that was all good news. Currently, we are working with our engineer to get our proposed site plan done. We actually just got a draft in today that has all of the new proposed conditions. We have our existing conditions plan. Currently, we're looking it over just to make sure that everything looks good on our end. Just kind of the synopsis of what we're thinking is pulling back as much dirt as we can while removing a fair amount of it, reducing that slope to reduce the amount of wind erosion that's taking place, and then also putting a cap of actual organic soil on top of it to reduce the amount of wind that picks up that kind of silty material that's out there. A lot of the dirt will be transported off-site because it is clean, so it can be removed and taken to another site that is deemed worthy by the Conservation Commission. So that's all I have for you tonight. Hopefully very soon we'll be bringing to you a notice of intent if that's what you were looking for. I don't think we actually ended up deciding if it was going to be an enforcement order or a notice of intent, so.
Can you?
Well, how is this
make our-
working? We're paying you, but the applicant, the owner is going to end up paying? How's this work? Because we can't do the work on that site without them not jumping through all sorts of hoops, right?
I mean, we're more than happy to do a notice of intent for this and have the applicant pay for obviously the filing fees and the state fees.
And that implies that the applicant files the notice of intent.
Correct.
And that implies that the applicant is okay with your plan. And then that implies that we're okay with that plan. Like you've taken out enough, because there could be some negotiating here, right? And it shouldn't be, it should be negotiated based on need and or what is best for the site. You know, the site for the site. First, cost shouldn't matter versus, so I've never done this before, but we're basically negotiating
How much material is coming out?
I don't know that off the top of my head right now. They're just draft plans, so that's all I've taken. And it was just briefly because they did just come in today. So I don't know how much is actually being removed. That's a question for the engineer. And I can speak to Maya off out of the hearing and talk about that.
So what is going to be the final slope going to be?
I think it's something around, still there's gonna be 20 feet of soil out there, but it's gonna have the retaining wall that's gonna kind of prevent any erosion into the wetlands out there and obviously reduce,
slope.
it's gonna reduce the slope a significant amount because you go out there right now, it looks like a mountain. So it's gonna be pulled back a fair amount and reduce the slope to have no runoff going into the wetland there.
So when are we going to see some plans when you file the NOI?
Yeah, that would be correct, yeah.
So how long is it going to take to do that?
So it's just gonna take a couple of, it's probably take a week.
This is gone off.
Absolutely, and we totally understand that. It's just, it was a bit of a survey thing. I mean, you know how long it takes for engineers to get out there. They're pretty backlogged at this point. So they went out, we actually have plans in hand. We have existing conditions in hand now. So we can probably move through this process fairly quickly at this point because all of the field work is done. Now it's just kind of pushing the paper.
Okay. So that's what we'd like to see with the final grading plan is going to look like.
Yep.
In the retaining wall.
Would you like to see the final grading plan for what we think before the notice of intent is filed?
Maybe.
Well, now we get into, yes, it's negotiating. So who's hiring? Who's
So
running this job?
why don't you get on the agenda and bring in the engineering proposed plan? And then, so we can talk about it.
Well,
I mean,
I
we
go
could
two
just do
ways.
that during the
One,
notice of
if
intent
time is
phase,
of the
so.
essence and we want this done as soon as
Right.
possible, we want to bring in the owner now so that he can see what's in as soon as possible, get comfortable and maybe let them argue about it. And then they come to us and we're going to argue with that.
So is this
And then
saving it on the next agenda?
When is the next hearing?
the 23rd.
22nd.
22nd.
22nd. If we can get on the first agenda in January, I think that would be a reasonable request.
Well, here's what I would like to see done by the 22nd meeting. In our previous discussion several months ago, we left open the question of whether there would be an NOI or an enforcement order. And I'd like to make that decision by the 22nd because then, as Peter was indicating, it'll clear up some of the questions about who's paying, who's responsible. So there should be a agreement between the owner and your engineering firm as to what you would like to do. Bring it to us at the 22nd meeting, and then we'll hear your recommendation as to which of those two routes to go, and then choose, negotiate that. Then when you come in January, we'll know under what legal authority we'll be reviewing your proposed implementation. Does that make sense?
The only thing that I have a question with that, I guess it's more on me than on you, is just kind of a short, I don't know when the January hearing is, but it'd be a short time frame to get the NOI into January with the holiday season there.
Question for you.
Yes.
When you have this plan drawn up, will you put the existing conditions and then in a different color, put the proposed
Yeah, you're gonna get a,
restoration?
so right now, currently, what I've seen is we have an existing conditions plan, which will be submitted to the Conservation Commission. And we also have a proposed conditions, and we still have the existing conditions highlighted underneath. And then on top of that is gonna be a darker proposed
Okay,
condition
so-
with the grading, solid lines for what our proposed grades are gonna be. So it's just definitely different, on the plans.
Yeah, it's related.
So
Correct.
January date is January 5th.
And you're suggesting that's a too quick turnaround for the holidays. I can appreciate that. And to be honest with you, the work is not going to be done until the spring, right? So, but I don't want to get this hung up in lawyers and back and forth. So that's why I want to see if we can
Yeah.
do it as quick and clean with very little arguments as opposed to getting into a squabble.
Okay, so I mean, I could definitely appreciate bringing our decision and what we think to the next hearing, which would be the December 22nd, and then bring in notice of intent to the, I guess, the second meeting in January, if that would be approved by the commission.
Mr. Goddard is the one who said that there were advantages and disadvantages to both the enforcement order approach and the other approach. So if he were able to come and state that, or if you would be able to hear the arguments from him and bring them at the 22nd meeting.
Okay, I can do that.
And internally, do we want to invite the owner to come to our next meeting?
The owner, the owner's lawyer, like we've had in previous meetings.
Yeah.
Because we want to make sure the owner is not objecting to which of those two approaches we're doing, so he should be, or his lawyer should be present to hear the discussion about the two alternatives.
I don't know if we need a motion, or a motion to continue to our next meeting on the 20th.
We're not continuing anything. This was just an
This is a
information
discussion.
meeting. But are there people in the audience who have questions?
Yes, there is.
I'm Kathleen Alexander, 14 Locust Street. I abut this property, and I was wondering if there are other boards that this would have to be presented to and be approved.
I don't think so. It's not a building project. It's not a ZBA issue. It's
It's a DEP
a
issue.
DEP issue.
And
A
would,
Board of Health if it were contaminants, but they've been taken off the table for now.
and would Allen Engineers be presenting at any of these December or January meetings?
So they'd be presenting during, if the Conservation Commission decides to go for the notice of intent, they would be presenting alongside of us as their wetland representative, describing either the soil removal or any of their thinking on the engineering side of things.
And that would be at the January meeting or the December meeting?
So I think we're looking to submit we're still looking to submit a notice of intent or some kind of action before the second hearing in Mendon, or in January.
That would be the January meeting. The December, we're just seeing his plans to date, which has his ideas. Then we'll discuss that. Then he's got to convert that into a notice of intent.
Okay, thank you.
Well, it may be a notice of intent. The way I'm structuring this is at the meeting in 2 weeks, we will drive a decision as to whether we go the NOI route or the compliance route in consultation with the owner, the owner's attorney, and Goddard Engineering. Once that's done, then we'll know exactly what we'll be talking about in January.
So the lawyer that's representing our interests should be here at the 12/22 meeting?
Yes, because in essence, they're presenting what they're recommending as a fix.
Okay.
We're seeing it for the first time and.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not quite that. At the 22nd meeting, we're going to decide whether we go under an NOI or an order. The actual
Okay.
presentation we've been asked to defer that until January because they will not have finished reviewing the current draft proposal until then.
No, wait a moment, Carl.
No, that's not what you
We
heard?
need a plan.
No, I
And they're
think that
gonna
was,
present it.
that was not what I was saying. I was saying that we're gonna be able to review the draft plan very soon. We just need a stamped plan. I was saying it'd be a quick turnaround to get a notice of intent or some form
Okay.
of right to you before the January 5th hearing with the holiday season, because that would be a pretty short week with the holidays and whatnot.
So Carl, you're right. We're going to decide then whether to go to consent decree or notice of intent. But that's going to be based on the discussion of a proposed plan that we
Okay.
have to look at.
I haven't been involved in a compliance order before, so I'm.
Neither have we. Due to all of us. Are there other, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be serving as chair. Other questions from the audience? I think we're done.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So that's the,
Is everybody here for Level Street? What street? Asylum?
yeah, that's not on the agenda.
Received notices about it.
Yeah, I'm not receiving notices dated tonight at 7:00.
What number Asylum?
13.
No, I was speaking with, I don't know why they sent them out, I was gonna put them for the 22nd, they were using for it.
Yeah, all the letters sent to you today.
I wasn't, I didn't put out a notice.
We all got notice to say this evening.
Is it
That's
for a
why we're
public
here.
hearing?
Yeah, we got, registered mail for it.
We all got the green cards, right?
Well, I didn't see in my email, so I thought I had sent out, so I think there's a, that's my fault. I think I had sent out an email, for the listing, but then I didn't see it when I was in correspondence with the lawyer, so I thought it had dropped. I thought it hadn't gone through, so that's really weird. I'm sorry about that.
What is this regarding? A
13
new NOI, and NOI, somebody building a house or?
Yeah, they got fill in the wetlands for the septic and pool and so on.
I'm sorry, yeah, I had sent it in, but I didn't see that it was there. That was, I was looking for that. I'm sorry about that, that's my fault.
Would that mean there'd be plans here for that?
Yeah, because I know, I wanted to do it for this meeting, sorry, I guess I sent out the legal notice earlier, but then I didn't see it in the email, so I thought it just hadn't gone through. So I was gonna say for next week, so I was looking for it. In fact, I've done it too early in advance and it was my fault.
If you do have the plans while we're here, could we take a look at them?
Well, we haven't seen them yet. I don't know if it is. Is that the package sitting in the mail?
Do you have a
maybe?
plan?
Let me see, I'm so sorry.
If there is one, sure.
You're welcome to view one if there is one, yes.
Thank you.
I think I do.
Oh, so you're not presenting, you're just.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's nobody present.
so you're here just as.
But it is
Something.
it is a document that's public information, so if we have the plan, you're more than welcome to look at it.
Yeah, we got the thing, you said if we wanted to look
Yep.
at it down, down hall.
I'm sorry, I did it so far in advance and I think I couldn't find it. I thought that I had done it. I'm very sorry.
Nice to get a registered letter and go, uh-oh.
Let me see what I have here.
Is it in with the mail?
I think it is. Is it okay if I run over?
Yeah, you can grab it.
So do you guys know this lot, or is the neighbors okay, or it's has he subdivided a lot, or is it an old historic lot?
Originally, we heard it was gonna be two lots. And then they came back with it.
Is this the one that's way out in the woods?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, I remember when it
And
came in.
then they came back with the last thing was that they'd have to fill in, the wetlands back there for their septic and also their swimming pool. And again, we're curious.
Yeah, I remember there was two lots.
Really
Yeah.
close to the
Yeah,
butter.
I mean.
Yeah, there was two lots. And
Yeah.
they were a long driveway, I think, was it one driveway in and the other driveway went off of that, or did two come to the Asylum Street?
Yeah, no, they're gonna do, I think, one shared one and then split off.
Okay, I
branch
remember
together.
Very long driveway.
Yeah.
So they must be, maybe they're re-engineered it and a new design, maybe that's why they refiled. Or it expired, one or the other, because that was quite a while ago, wasn't
That
it?
could be, and then originally they were gonna build, I think, on 13A, but now I think it's 13B that recently sold, so.
Okay.
I think Russ Kempton installed it. Is that something?
Yeah, and then someone bought it, but then they sat on it for the longest time. Then I saw it went on the market.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just seeing that too. I'm just-
Did they fill in the wetlands already, or are they proposing to fill in?
No, yeah, they haven't done it.
So there must be replication and everything. Well, hopefully she can get her hands on it, you guys can view it.
Question.
Won't be a total loss of your night.
Timmy, down at 23 Cape Road, it's funny because we were away and I got a registered letter for down there too.
For across the street?
Yeah, I haven't even had a chance to pick that up. What are they?
So I think what is that the site north of the soccer field?
I believe that
Or south
is
of the soccer field?
the solar panels that they want to clean up. And there was a little bit of erosion, but the big part of the erosion is the lot.
No, I think this is a new development,
The Amazon warehouse.
The Amazon, so they're bought that, and yes, there was a pre-existing problems, big time.
oh, I thought this
Well,
was
they
for a new development on Cape Road.
They're gonna
No.
piece of island and.
Where the house was.
No, this is,
In the plans?
Okay, so they would like to take a look at the plan.
You have to. I
Let's
also
just
have
put it out
some
on the table. with
helmets if
you.
you're hungry, I'm super sorry for
spread that on the table, you can take it over that phone.
I just.
I'm giving up snacks.
I'm so sorry.
Madam Chair, there's a couple here, and they've got an issue, I think I may want to,
So we're gonna continue our meeting if you wanna look at the.
I'm Bill Vincent. I got an audit condition that discussed with my panel right here. This is a conflict of interest right here. Yes, you do.
it's not a conflict of interest, now he's going to declare his conflict of interest, and you're going to step down and go into the other.
Thank you, sir. I'm so sorry.
I don't know if you can help me.
Well, we can listen to you.
What's going on?
Telephone pole. Right in my garage, right on the garage. I can't open my door.
You think it's.
Well, I do remember that it was unclear because whether it's going to be underground or utility pole, and that no one could say for the engineering firm what it was going to be, but that
I talked to the natural.
Dr. Natural Grid.
They said.
Before or after they put solar?
No, they put it in.
this is the.
They haven't put it up.
No, it's circle.
Okay, they put it where they want it,
Right,
and you don't want it to go where they want it.
right. And I talked to National Grid and they said, no problem on the other side. And I talked to my neighbor
And the garage.
and I talked to my neighbor. He said, no problem.
So you want it moved to the other side.
Yes,
The
that's all.
neighbor who is on the other side doesn't have a problem.
I talked to him 5 minutes ago.
And National Grid doesn't have a problem.
Problem. It's just the trees.
Okay, Bob, do you have a problem with moving the pole onto the other side?
Mr. Vincent, you were actually talking to me. You would have realized that I did talk to him.
So Carl,
I told him that.
you're looking at 13B asylum?
Right, that's the stuff that was in the text messages this morning, this afternoon.
Access to his den. And therefore, it would alleviate the problem. The reason why it's going to be on the side, going to be, is because that's a straight line for the rest of the pipe that has to go through. No, to go from the right side of the driveway to the left side of the driveway, to go back to the right side of the driveway, to go down the driveway, does not make sense.
If you want to put a pipe in or wire?
Order a condition.
Yes.
Wait, is this
Yes, if it's on the conservation plan and it's in the work. So the way I read it is that the National Grid came up with a proposal
Yes.
and they put it on the ground.
And
And the abutter is more than right in his right to, because he brought it up beforehand
Right.
as an issue, and that before it gets built, we've got to approve where it's going to go. I hate to be, and so,
They also need easements.
well,
He said, no problem. I talked to him 5 minutes ago. He says, I'll sign the easement.
well, this is your neighbor.
Right.
So it's good that you got the neighbor on board. And to me, it's having National Grid on board, because they're the engineers. And Bob, your question about changing sides, that is an engineering question that I leave up to National Grid. And yeah, it might make a little bit more sense, but you got a strong reason for putting it on the other side. And so unless you can come up with a better reason why it can't be moved to the other side besides,
Well, Atkinson,
I don't know.
Atkinson, the building inspector, he's gonna, talk about that issue because it's too close to the garage and it's too close to the house.
2 feet.
And it's not supposed to be in that general area.
Don't worry about it. We're gonna deal with this in a different way. How?
We.
We're gonna discuss this right now. We're gonna solve it.
One side issue.
Because we're fighting each other. Why should we fight each other?
Do you have a plan?
Neighbor?
Doesn't show a
You're supposed to be a neighbor.
Shows
Come on.
where it's proposed.
It wouldn't.
We got
I was
property.
planning on going underground all the way to.
He
the-
wants to build it on
They
his
want
side,
to.
on one side. And he has
So they can
plenty
put
of
it
interest on the other side. There's no reason why he should destroy our property. None.
Are you putting a pipe in or why?
No, he's gonna put, there's gonna be a pipe to the pole.
there's gonna be a wire to a pole. A new pole.
From the
put in,
street.
A wire going overhead to the pole, down the pole, and then he was gonna take it underground. Is that right? So.
Yeah, it's gonna be right next to my garage.
So, yes, so it's gonna be overhead to one pole and then underground, to answer your question. Where that pole is gonna be, in my mind, is still up in the air, and that's where I'm aiming to, but,
I talked to Dutch and Grit, and he said no problem.
you've gotta show what you're gonna do on it.
Let's continue with different meetings, because it'll have to go to a meeting.
That's the pole at the front of the, house.
You're gonna fight me all the way. Why?
And we have our town water there.
Doesn't make any
We
sense.
have to take
So,
that
where they propose to put the pole, does that work?
My problem.
on the other side of 100
Um,
feet down,
like I
and
said,
then they can run it.
Is there a
down.
better spot than in front of the garage?
I don't know how, it might look national. Yeah.
Where's it gonna go?
it's gonna go past the buildings.
I don't wanna pass the building, because that's my access.
He means to come back
It's my
past.
property.
But if we
It
have-
ain't your property, my property is right there.
Tim, it's my property.
So what you need to do is you need to, before this poll is even started, you need to bring a plan in, so we can all look at a plan and show exactly where it's going. So no poll, should go.
National Grid's gonna have it.
Well, that's what we need to
Yeah.
see, so we can talk about it, okay? That makes sense.
Yeah, there's something else that we can work
You gotta plow the
I
property.
understand, and that's why we want to see. He is saying that it can go in a different spot that would be less intrusive to you. So let's see it on a plan.
It's really, because then they're gonna.
Oh, and it's supposed to change the address, particularly.
You wanted the house there, you gotta pay for it. Simple as that.
Let's bring a plan, so we can see. Let's just try it.
All right, well, thanks for coming in.
Oh, it's gotta be solved.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
It seems to go one way. and-
It's all one way. Now he's on the board. Come on.
That doesn't give him
What
any,
more do you want?
that doesn't give him any increase. Not my book. Makes it harder, actually.
Conflict of interest, I guarantee that.
Come back, Bob.
This is not the forum for these types of things.
No, I wish you guys would have said that.
I did. Well, it's not. Unless we see a plan, to see if it's gonna, yeah.
I'm not gonna say this, it's gonna go here, it's gonna go there. I wanna
Yeah.
see it. Not a circle around.
You'll have, time with other things, you don't have.
Thank you for bringing those up, Brad. No, you're.
That's my position.
One of the representatives said they didn't see a notice, and so it's like, I thought, was it?
And I only thought it was gonna be a general, like afterwards, and I was like, yeah.
I'm not.
I shouldn't be talking about it. You're right.
So are we,
So, I think, Carl, did you have anything else?
Carl, Do you have anything else?
How you feeling?
I'm about falling asleep. I've talked with some of the people on the board about a possible issue at 29 Misco Road, which is right across from the thing we were reviewing earlier. We're busy working it out with the real estate broker and some lawyers, and it doesn't look like there will be anything that the Conservation Commission is concerned with. There is an isolated wetlands on the property, so I may be coming back and talking to people about whether that has any impact or not.
So I motion that we close the meeting, public meeting.
I'll second that motion. Oh, yeah.
All in favor?
Tim, aye.
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 And I'll save everything.
Okay, everybody close. We're gonna close off the recording. Bye. Yeah, she did.